the center.
Hi, I'm Leesa Robinson with Tammie Smith, and we are going to talk about all kinds of stuff. First, everybody knows who I am. Tammie, please tell everybody what you do, who you are, even though they know we're friends, but tell them what you do.
Hi, I'm Tammie Smith with Smith International Productions. I'm a producer, director, you name it. I do a little bit of everything. I have a casting and talent agency, all of the above.
So we are producers. That's what we do. Tammie and I are working together on what, about 50 projects, maybe something like
Probably
that. Yeah,
about
and we have hundreds more that always come our way. She gets scripts and movies in her inbox every day, and so do I. So we thought it would be kind of cool to talk about what we do. And we both kind of do the same thing. Tammie helps me with in the talent, and I help her in the talent. We help each other with producing our films, finding money. I am actually an executive producer, so that is my primary function is to find money for film. And I do produce, but my production company is mainly documentaries. So I'm going to be in a learning process. Tammie's going to teach me a whole lot about what she does in the film industry because I am going full force into the film industry as well. And it won't be just documentaries. But if you need a documentary, I'm your expert on documentaries. And Tammie, she's just an expert in the film industry and she can help with documentaries too. So if you have any, reach out to her, reach out to me. Tammie and I both will put our emails down below once our film, our this post, which you should be able to view it live now. We are actually streaming in 50 different countries at this moment. So that's exciting. But first of all, Tammie and I kind of want to educate people a little bit with how this all works. First, if you have a script and say you send us a script, first of all, if she and I are working on the script together, we're going to conference call or, I may go over to her house and we're going to read the script and analyze it to see if it's viable to do it and to be profitable doing it. Now, we're not about all about the money and being profitable. We're more about making sure that we can pay our investors back. It has to be substantial enough that we feel like not only will we make a little profit, but we will be able to pay our investors back. Normally, how as an executive producer, normally an investor comes in and it can go a couple of ways with investment. We can either give them their investment back plus 20% and some points on the end, or if they want to be more of an owner, then that's another negotiation. Tammie, what's your thoughts on that?
yeah. It depends on the investor. Sometimes they, will do the ROI, return on investment, at 100, 115 to 125%. It just depends on the investor.
That's true. And Tammie and I both are working with kind of the same investor right now on a couple of projects. And we're getting a lot of feedback on people are like, well, have you heard anything? Have you heard anything? Have you heard anything? And you kind of got to understand where we sit in this chair that um, we update you when we get an update. We don't need to waste our time to call you to tell you we don't have an update. Am I right, Tammie?
That's correct.
We get it when we get it. The investors that I work with are very, very reliable investors, and I take them at their word. We have contracts with them. So if they say they're going to give us the money, they're going to give us the money. And patience is the key if you want to be successful. And there are a couple of things that I know Tammie discusses with you as a writer, or I discuss with my people that um, oh shoot, Tammie, my mind went blank. Can you help me out here?
That we can't always discuss with you guys, but we will update you when we can. But
Exactly.
we can't rush the investors, because if you keep, pushing the investors, then they're going to walk away. We have to be on their time schedule.
And we understand that you're anxious. We get that. We're anxious too, but your project is not our only project. I know Tammie has on her slate like 150, at least 50 right now that Tammie and I both are trying to get funding for. The other are like on the back burner. And we understand you're anxious, but we are not going to pressure our investor, because you've got to think these are very, very, very wealthy people that we deal with. And if you pressure them in the least bit, we lose those investors and we will never have them again. So we just ask for all of y'all to be like really patient. And I know how hard that is. Go ahead, Tammie. I'm doing all the talking.
That's okay. You can talk.
But is there any movies that you have that you can talk about? A lot of times we can't talk about them because of the NDA. Why don't you tell our viewers what the NDA is? That's a good start.
It's a confidentiality and non-disclosure agreement, meaning that anything about a particular film cannot be discussed until it's time for it to be released. In other words, if we have a trailer or a poster, we have a particular time that we want it to be released, and anybody that's involved in making it has to sign this NDA, and they cannot discuss it or give out any information to anyone about it until that particular release date. It's kind of like everybody knows what a spoiler is. Okay. It's the exact same thing. We don't want the spoilers to get out until we release the trailer or till the film comes out. Or in an instance like, Game of Thrones, or, any kind of TV series, we don't want anybody to know what's going to happen until the show is seen. So, the actors that are in that particular TV show or that particular movie have to sign an NDA saying that they are not going to tell anyone what is being filmed, prior to that show airing, so that, everybody is in suspense. Nobody knows what's going to happen. So an NDA is, in the film industry or any kind of industry, is very important, because if these kind of things get out, it makes them lose money. It makes the films lose money, because
or we could lose it.
They don't want to watch them. Mm-hmm. They already know.
Mm-hmm. Or we could lose the film completely, because most investors are very, very touchy about how we abide by our own rules, if that makes sense to everybody. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, I want to tell everybody about our sponsor. Tammie and I already talked about our sponsor this morning, and I want to say, because Tammie and I had this conversation, we don't care what your business is. We don't care. We don't care what your religious beliefs are, your political beliefs are. We don't care. If you want to be our sponsor, Tammie is not always going to be in her home office. So at a later date, she'll be able to have, like I have, a bookshelf, and we'll be able to have our sponsors right here. As you can see, myself being a sponsor of my cosmetic line, I have it right there. And then we have the new Power Diva and Charge mugs. These mugs are $15, but I want everybody to know, because I know that's high for a mug, but part of that money goes to charity for domestic violence. It goes to FromTheHeartProductions.com under our documentary series, Stand Strong for Justice. So part of that money for the cups and the t-shirts go to From the Heart Productions to help us produce our documentary. And then we have Ebony Sage, which is more like a spiritual store. She gave me this money candle. I know you can't see the label, and I do not understand why it is not clear. There we go. That's a little bit better. But I don't know how many of you are on TikTok. There is a TikTok going around. It says "Ching Ching goes the money tree." It's a little chant thing. She got permission to actually put this on the candle. And so when you light it, you do the little money chant, and that's that. But she's got a whole store over there. But she also has the little money rice and then the little money gree bags. And I know that's more spiritual. So a lot of the really religious people, they're like, oh, that's the devil. But it's not. It's just what certain people believe. And she is our sponsor, and that is ebonysage.com. She has a lot of candles, jewelry, just all kinds of stuff that I never even knew existed. And she is actually right next door to my office here in Waveland, Mississippi. So she gave me this stuff so she could be our sponsor today. And I will also post that link in when we're done. I'll do that. So that's our sponsor of the day. Go ahead, Tammie.
Yeah, and we're going to have a sponsor every time that we go live. So there'll be a different one each time. Anybody wants to sponsor, just contact either Leesa or me.
And what we'll need, you will need to send me your product, and you'll need to send Tammie your product. We both need the product because we're both hosting a show. So when she rearranges her office, you'll be able to see the product behind her. And we're going to promote you. And we're going to promote you a little bit more than just our show. Because, you know, I am
the logos on our other stuff as well.
Mm-hmm. We probably won't be able to keep their logos on our websites permanently, but at least for the particular show, we'll be able to. Right now, the domain for Power Divas in Charge is bossdivas.tv, which I decided to change the name to Power Divas in Charge, which I have that domain. I just haven't switched it over yet. But right now you can see it on bossdivas.tv because we are actively in production with that TV show. And Tammie will be helping with that show as well. So we'll be traveling a lot. Wherever we are, that's where we'll be.
And then I can also do any kind of logos at the Film Awards Festival and stuff. So
that's right. So it's beneficial. I know you have to send us some free product, but that's okay because we got your back on it. I'm very, very strong in marketing. That's not my expertise. I actually have a bachelor's degree in film and animation and building websites, that kind of thing. But I'm very strong in marketing. So I will help. Tammie and I both are like ready to help you because that's what we're about. We're women inspiring other women. Not to say we wouldn't help men. If you send us something good, we'll promote it. So I actually have the Facebook stream where some of you are watching. So if you're still and you have any questions, I know Jared says it's like a security aspect of the financial backer, and that is so true. If people are leaking footage, then it takes away the value of the film. Thank you, Jared, for that, because that is very, very important issue. So if anybody wants to ask any questions, Tammie, can you see the stream on?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
Tammie can see it as well.
So like basically what I explained, people, you lose finances, just like if there was, I don't know, Superman 12 coming out, if everybody says what the movie is about beforehand, I mean, it's like, why go see it? So then they lose box office money.
Now we do, Tammie and I as producers, we do produce videos. That's what we do. But we have videos that we need for our investors. We do teasers, and that's what I know. Sometimes you'll see, and I try to tag Tammie in all of them when you see me post a teaser, but that's all it is. It just gives you a snippet of what the movie's about, and a lot of time that footage is stock footage. It's not our footage. So
And that's
you
the
can't
reason why.
really, yeah, you can't really tell what the film's about because it's stock footage. It's not footage from the film. And now I found something out today, and I don't know if I told you about it yet, Tammie, but we have funding that may happen fairly quickly for some things, and we're not going to mention what things because Tammie has hundreds, I have hundreds, so we're not going to mention it to not to get anybody's hopes up. I'm not about saying something and then it not going through because that has happened before and made me look bad when I was listening to somebody else. So me and Tammie are trying to like protect ourselves from that. But a lot of things that people don't realize is the money that Tammie and I have to spend on some of these things. Now, right now, there's a tax credit that's going away December 31st. And the cheapest lawyer per film that I have found is $7,500. And if Tammie or I want to put one of our films in that tax credit, we got to spend that money. And a lot of people don't realize that. You think that oh well, they get their money whenever they're financed. You know that's not how it works. And as producers, me and Tammie, as a producer, if there are other producers on a film, we're in a pool. That means if there's 6 producers and there's only $100,000 for in the producer pool, then we only get a portion, a sixth of a portion. And that's not a lot of money. I know people think that that we are like rich because we do this. I mean, I do have a very successful company. I'm not gonna lie, but I didn't get rich being a producer. I'm sure you feel the same way, Tammie, right?
True.
I mean, I make a lot of money being an executive producer, which I like. That's my thing. But so there's a lot of money that has to come out of our pocket, even though we've signed an agreement with you. And there's several ways that we do an agreement. We could either buy your project, which that's what a lot of people want us to do is just buy and then they're done. Or we can do an agreement where we pay you when we get funded as a writer. And I did find out today, Tammie, you may know this because you're more on, I'm documentary, you're more on film, that a lot of writers don't get points on the end.
Right. Yeah.
And I've been getting a lot of flack about that.
And they end up with nothing if they option for points on the back end. They end up with nothing.
It's right. And here's another thing. We have to negotiate for y'all for them points on the back end. Because number one, your investor owns 50% immediately. Once they give me or Tammie the money, the investor owns 50%. And he will want his money back. And like Tammie said, he'll want anywhere from 15 to 25% on top of what he gave us. So we're not the ones that make the money here, and the writers aren't the ones that make the money here. We just want to make that clear. But as a writer, because I've written myself, as a writer, it lifts you up to a level to where you become famous, and that's where the money comes from, if that makes any sense at all. More opportunities come up, more money comes up, and that's where you start making more money. Once first-time writers, me and Tammie researched this thoroughly. First-time writers, we thought it was like 40,000 or 30 something thousand.
It's $34,983 was the max. So I just rounded mine up to 35,000.
But here's the thing: they have to
2 to 3% of the budget up to that amount.
But here's a very, very important point. If you're a first-time writer, even though you're registered with the guild, that doesn't mean the guild recognizes you as a writer. And that's kind of sad, but that's the way it is. So she and I have strict guidelines on what we can pay writers. And I get a lot of flack about that, and Tammie does too, because we've discussed it. But people have to realize that it's not up to us. It's not like we invented this. We didn't. We're just working in the industry. The industry has its own standards. And I hope I don't sound like a bitch when I say that, because I don't mean it that way. But I just want people to understand what we have to go through. We are under a ethical responsibility to follow guidelines, and we can't change those guidelines. And she and I both are learning a whole lot more day by day in this industry, because new things come up too. And now with COVID, Tammie and I both are certified production companies. We're COVID certified production companies. So we know all the ins and outs with how to run a production and be safe, which is good. Now me, and I'm going to encourage Tammie to do the same thing. We have to start getting background checks on actors, and anybody that's actually going to be on set with us has to have a background check. And sadly, this is because of all of the, I don't want to use that word because we may get blocked if we use it, but
I just say what's happened in the past.
What's happened in the past in Hollywood. And the beautiful thing about, Tammie is in Florida, I'm in Mississippi. The beautiful thing about us in the South is we're fresh, we're new, but we are aligning ourselves to be the top in the industry. And I just spoke to one of the studios today, because I was telling them about the background checks and everything. We want to be known as safe, secure, and we want to keep our actors safe, our celebrities safe, and anyone involved, producers, any of the staff. We want to keep them safe from predators.
And our children.
Yes, because we do have a lot of films that there are children in the film, and I'm a mother, Tammie's a mother, and we're super protective of our talent. We're like mama bears when it comes to our talent. So nobody's asking any questions. You know me, I could sit here and talk all day about this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, let's talk about a project. One of my favorite ones that Tammie has, and I think Kristen, yeah, I think Kristen's on. I don't know if she's watching, but if you are, hi. I don't know why that I was so attracted to that one. It looks like a really good project that I would love to be a producer on as well. You can tell them a little bit, not a lot. Tell them the log line.
We pretty much have it. Kristen's on. She says hi.
I know.
It's pretty much cast as far as most of the leads. There is a couple of spots that still have, one-liners that I left open. And the DP that wants to do this one, he's the DP from Madam Secretary.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm. So we haven't signed any paperwork yet because, like I said, I don't want to sign any contracts till finances are there. So, I just don't do that, But, he's already read it. We've already did, some revisions to add, children's lines on there. And, it just made it a lot better. And so there are a lot of children's roles on there. Their children have already filled the roles. So,
are you talking about Watchdogs?
Yes.
Yeah.
It has a large cast. I believe there's 40, let me look. There are 40 people already cast on it.
Oh, wow.
Including the children, yes. The log line is a high-ranking official unites with a group of patriots in an attempt to save their families and restore freedoms after the emergence of a government-run megacity and a slew of possible terrorist attacks.
That sounds like what we're going through right now. Kristen, you must be psychic.
And this is already multi-award winning.
I saw that. Yeah. I like that a lot of them that you have on your slate, the writers actually took responsibility for that and got the awards, submitted to the proper panels.
Them because they were so good.
Mm-hmm. I know. I really like the ones that you have on your slate. I mean, I have two writers that have written 19, and they're actually writing. There is a story, and I'm going to. No, I better not talk about it because they're writing it.
Yeah, but they're good writers too. Yeah.
Yeah, they're really good writers. But there is a biblical story that I want to tell, and they are actually going to be writing it for me. So that's exciting. But most of those films are horror or scientific or technology kind of things. But they're smaller films. We may have, I don't want to say B actors, but a while back, about 5 years ago, I got this title of the comeback kid because a lot of old actors, and I have a couple of famous actors that are old that are signed. I hate to use that word old because I'm old too. But they're signed under the agency. So I got the name of the comeback kid because I was helping older famous actors make a comeback. And I also manage a couple of very, very famous bands that are making a comeback as well. So I got that little name there. So my theory behind what I'm saying is we have that opportunity, even though we don't have Leonardo DiCaprio on one of these films, we have the opportunity to bring some older actors. And I'm not talking old. I'm talking about Tara Reid. I'm talking about Cameron Diaz. I'm talking about these type of, they're not considered A-list Hollywood anymore, but they're still well-known names that we will have the opportunity to bring to our projects along with hundreds others. So that's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, well,
I think we can get some A-list as well.
Yeah, and we're going to do it when we get to that point. But as everybody knows, that we can't secure those actors till we have proof of funds, and we don't actually have to have funds. We just have to have proof of funds. So I will actually have proof of funds with the entertainment group, hopefully by the end of next week. And what I intend to do with those proof of funds is go ahead and secure our actors so that once we have them secured, because we don't have to pay them. We don't have to pay them right away. We just have to show proof of funds. So say Watch Dogs. We decide who we want on Watch Dogs. I secure those actors for Watch Dogs. And it doesn't matter when we start filming. It doesn't matter as long as they are available, but we will have them secured, and then we can start marketing Watch Dogs with those actors, which is the beauty of proof of funds. That's what I'm thinking.
I'm ready.
Me too. And I think we talked about, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, because we were having streaming issues. Now we have this beautiful platform that streams to 50 countries. So I don't speak any other languages except hola in Spanish. So if you're Spanish in another country watching us, hola.
Exactly.
But gosh, I'm really old. My age is showing. My mind just keeps going. Whoop.
And hopefully We will be producing some films in some other countries. We can't talk about that right now, but several other countries. So I look forward to that as well.
That's right, and other states too. Oh, that's what I was going to say. I'm trying to be careful what I tell on my end. Tammie knows what I'm going to say, but there is the possibility of several studios being built, and one will be in Florida where she is. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say where I'm going to be. And if I do have one, because hers will be in Panama City, mine will be in South Florida. I'll just say that.
And we'll just fly back and forth.
Yeah, and then of course we'll have use of the New Orleans studio. I'm working up a contract now as we speak. Actually, today I'm doing that. So we'll have use of the New Orleans studios, and most of my films from Lance and Caricia, the horror and the techie, the science films are going to be filmed in New Orleans. I'm just going to be honest about that. They're going to be in New Orleans, and a couple of the horror films are perfect for New Orleans. The Angel of Death is very New Orleansy, very, you know how they have that voodoo culture, that magic. Yeah, so they're going to be really good for that. And um, and like Tammie said, we've got two that will be filmed out of the country. We know exactly where they're going to be filmed, and it's a place that I have wanted to go. And I'm going to tell you, here's a clue. Here's a clue. If you stay on top of my Facebook page, my I am a super. I'm not going to say it, but they could figure it out if they were. I don't want to say if you were smart, because that might imply that you might not be smart. But if you are attentive, you can figure it out. Because the funny thing about me, and people like my friends like Tammie, they know exactly what I'm doing. I am very cryptic on Facebook. And even when I'm like telling somebody off, like we Southern women just lose it sometime and we got to tell somebody off, I'm really cryptic with it. So, but I do it in a manner to where the person that I'm aiming at, they know exactly who I'm talking about. Because I will be, I'll put little thorns in there. And it doesn't make me a bad person, but me and Tammie both are to the point where we are so advanced in our mind and in our confidence in ourselves that we're just not going to take crap anymore from anybody. And we both of us,
keeping a secret.
Yeah, both of us have to maintain our sanity at all times. So we have to keep people straight at all times. Not that we're mean or the B word, but we oh, who is Tom? Tom's the one in Australia.
Yes.
He said, "Is COVID safe here?"
Ooh. He wants us over there so bad.
Let's talk about that. I wonder about travel. Tom, let us know. I mean, Tim, not Tom.
If you fly over on private jet, it's easier. You can get away with a little more.
Well, we may have to put that in the budget.
We'll discuss that later. We'll discuss that not on here. I'll explain.
I don't have a private jet yet.
Well,
and you notice I said yes.
I'll explain.
Okay. I know in some countries like London and Italy that one of my investors is in Italy, and they're having a really bad time right now. Venice is flooded. Venice is bad. Now, I say that with a smile on my face because Venice was built on water.
Just like
Venice is flooded. But other areas of Venice that were built on land, it's really bad right now. And when I talked to him the other day, he said it was raining just cats and dogs in Rome. He's from Rome. And they have the transportation shut down. So he leaves work early to catch catch the train to get to wherever his office is, and then he has to leave early because they have curfew and they have the transportation shut down. So it's really bad in other countries. So Tim, I'm like so excited. We'll have to see what we can figure out, because that's one of the places I've always wanted to go to. But I will have. I think a lot of people have seen that I'm franchising the agency out. I've been wanting to do that for a while because me and Tammie talked about it. I am so over models. I'm just so over it. And it's not necessarily actors, it's models. But I do want to franchise out, and my investor wants to put 2 in Italy. So I feel comfortable saying that here, that we will have 2 franchises, and then we'll have 1 in London. He said that London is going to open back up in January. So he had an office which he closed in London, but he is opening back up in January, and I will have an office there in London. So I'm like super excited about that. But Italy, it'll probably be a little later. It all depends on COVID, really, and being safe. Now, if we do go to Italy, we probably will have a private jet. But I did find out that what happens at the airport, if you don't have a private jet, when you come in, they are there to make sure you go directly into quarantine for 14 days. Now, we have use of I want to say building. I don't want to say the word because you know what I'm talking about, the C word, where we'll be staying. So he's checking in to see if we come over by private jet, will we be able to go directly where we're staying?
Yeah.
Because that's where we want to film.
I'll tell you.
Or they're going to make us go to the hotel. Because right now, if you fly in, it's like the government or the officials, they make sure you don't go anywhere. You go from the airport to the hotel, and you have to stay there for 14 days. Now, it is a very 5-star high-class hotel. They feed you 3 great meals a day, but you cannot leave your room. So even if all of us went over there, like Tammie would have to stay in her room, I'd have to stay in my room, everybody else have to stay in their room. So we wouldn't be able to do production for 14 days. So that's just one of the things that will, in different countries, that we would have to deal with. But it is what it is. It's what I call our new normal, and we just have to go with it. I'm sorry, I took up.
That's okay.
But we got some really fun
stuff and get all that done.
Yeah.
We will go on a private jet. We're not flying with everybody else.
No, I don't want to fly with everybody else.
It's longer than 14 days sometimes. Yeah, no.
Yeah. But what would really be cool is if he got the jet for us, because he's done it before. When we were scheduled to go to cons, he had all the jets scheduled and everything, a private jet. So it would be cool if we could, with the authorities, take the private jet and go straight to where we're filming, because we're going to be there where we're filming, and which I'm not going to say. You'll hear about that later, and it won't be cryptic on Facebook either. We'll be telling all. So actually, this particular episode is not Truth or Tale. I guess it's more Power Divas, because that's what we are right now, is we're Power Divas in charge. Because we can't exactly tell the truth, but it's no fault of our own. We just can't tell it right now because we're both under an NDA, which is fun.
It is what it is.
It is
nothing new to this industry. So,
and another thing I kind of wanted to address, and I know Tammie has this issue too, because we have talked about it before. On social media, it's our job is so stressful and I don't really want to use the word stressful, but it's full. We have a full schedule every day. And when we jump on Facebook, it's not really, it's to do something. It's not really to go into our messenger to communicate. So I don't know about you, but email is always best for me because I have it open. I have it open right now, and my computer dings when I have an email. So I stay on top of my email. But when I'm on Facebook, I don't always open Messenger. Do you?
Mine comes open on my phone, and I do use it quite a bit actually. Um, but I mean, it's business wise. I mean, clients and everything. So I mean, I don't have an issue with Messenger really.
I do. It's just too much for me. And to be honest, Tammie
But
knows
I
this.
multitask really fast. So I mean, I'm like, shh,
Well,
like
and if you do on your phone, yeah, that is you. No matter where you are, you can
I
check
mean,
it.
Messenger, I don't have it on my computer, so it doesn't. I had to take it off the computer
Yeah.
because I'd be like on a conference call and Messenger would keep popping up, and it would just mess everything up. It would come like over the whole screen, and I couldn't do anything. So
I know WhatsApp.
it doesn't bother me. It's the same as a text. So
Well, that's true, but I don't really deal with Facebook on my phone. So see, so we are educating people because it's a little bit different for both of us. But WhatsApp is like that too. I I
yeah, so
am
I don't use that hardly ever.
well, girl, you better
It's
download
a
it because
nightmare.
you're gonna.
There are people calling me that I don't even know who they are, like saying stuff that I do not even want to hear. And I'm like, I keep that off my phone. I'm like, I
Well,
don't
you
know
better
who.
download it because you're gonna have to deal with it. I've noticed that a lot of my foreign investors
I'm like,
they
who are
want
you?
WhatsApp.
And what are you saying to
I
me?
said you better download it.
I'm like, do I know you? You have the right person. This is not 1-800. Call me.
You know what is funny? I used to have a private. I used to be a private investigator before I opened the agency. I was a private investigator for 10 years, and the name of my company was Red Lips Investigation because, as you can see, that's my trademark. Well, with my boyfriend, sometimes when he calls me, I'll go, "Thank you for calling 1-900 Red Lips. How may I help you?" He just gets the biggest kick out of that. But I do use WhatsApp a lot. But and what happens with what you said with Facebook sometimes when somebody tries to message you or call you on Facebook, it pops up and it blocks everything. And it's that way on WhatsApp too. People will look and see that I'm online, but when I'm online, I'm busy, especially WhatsApp, because I communicate with all the investors on WhatsApp. That's why I don't give any of my clients like talent or anybody, I don't give them my WhatsApp because I use that just for business.
That's why I leave the financial to you and let me do like the produce. I'll do the producing. I'll do the pre-production. Any of it. You can have the financial with your WhatsApp. I don't know about WhatsApp. It's like 1-800 sexy or something. I'm like, don't call me.
But you know what? You've got a very common name. I
I
mean,
know.
how many Tammie Smiths are there? There's probably
There's probably a million.
55 million.
I'm like, thanks, parents.
I have a story. I have a story, and you could probably relate to this. I have a phone on my account for all my grandchildren. I have four grandchildren. Well, Trey had he was actually staying in my office, and I had some food that I had left on in my particular office. So I messaged him. I forgot that I changed his number. So I messaged what I thought was Trey, and I said, "Could you please put that pizza in the refrigerator?" He goes, "Who is this?" I said, "It's Nana." And he said, um, "Nana who?" And I said, "Don't be playing with me, boy. This is Nana. You go put the pizza in the refrigerator. It was the wrong number.
I love it. That's funny.
Oh my God, it was so funny.
That sounds like something I would do. Forget I changed the number. Take the wrong
And see, you know what's weird? I'm not going to mention the name, but you know your other name. You know your other name.
Yeah. Yeah.
People know we're women. We've been married before, so we got a couple of names. But anyway, your other name.
No, I'm kidding.
I have another friend. Now her name is spelled Tammie, but her name is your other name. It's just the weirdest thing.
Like for those two, there's one that lives here.
Well, she lives in Alabama, and I'm like, so when I'm calling you, I gotta be. But I spelled your name correctly, and I just have you under Tammie, where I have her under her full name. But isn't that weird? Because your other name is not a common name, really, is it?
But there's several. There's several.
There are.
There's like I said, one here, and I hear your phone calls. You know, back when they had the phone books, and they listed everybody, and I'd be like, "This is she," and they'd be like, "What's she doing?" I'd be like, "Who is this?"
I know, you're like, I'm in the phone book. Oh my God, there's 50 other Tammies.
I know. It's like, thank God we don't have home phones anymore. I'm not getting phone calls in the middle of the night for the wrong number.
But what is really funny is you and her could be sisters. I swear to God.
There's somebody out there. Somebody used to always swear. Now, I've seen somebody, some all of me look just like you. And I'm like, was it me? I was not there. Yes, you were. No, I was not. I swear I walked right up to you and you ignored me. And I'm like, I was not there.
Somebody told me, and it was here in Mississippi, they were like, I saw you it was some bar, and I don't go to bars. And I was like, that wasn't me. And it was. I'm like, I would know it was not me. And they were talking about how I was with this guy, and I'm thinking, what? This is when I was married. And I'm thinking, oh my God, if my husband hears this. But is there anything else you want to talk about? Because we've been on for about almost an hour. I could do it all day.
I think I could too.
But I can't. I got to be on a call with an investor. I got to go get us some money.
Go get some more money?
I got to get some more money.
Does anybody have any more questions?
Paul says you're gorgeous, Tammie.
Well, thank
you. Who is Paul?
He's one of my student photographers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's awesome.
I'm looking for photographers for my agency too, Paul.
Oh, we'll bring him. Hey, he'll do all of them.
I have two photographers here in Mississippi, Benton and Brian Wright. Brian just bought a new camera, and I'm like, wow. And then Bill had been sick, and his wife had been sick, so he stopped photography for a while. And I've noticed him posting again, and oh my God, they're posting like night shots, and they have their lights set. It's amazing. And then they have colored lights behind the models. Oh my God, it's so gorgeous. And oh, I know one thing I want to say, and you're going to agree with me. If you want to submit to a modeling agent, please submit professional photos. I can't tell you how many bathroom shots that I've gotten. You would not believe
in the bathroom.
Exactly, and you wouldn't believe the stuff that I have seen on the sink. Just saying.
No.
So, or in the toilet.
Oh, yeah. No. Oh no.
So look, Paul says, "Call me, I'm ready." So if you want to be a model, you can contact either one of us. And like I said, I'm gonna put both of our websites down here.
No,
we work together, so you can contact either one of us. If you're in Florida, you can go. I'll send you to Tammie. She'll send you over here to Mississippi. I also have an office in Louisiana. So if you want to do work in Mississippi and Louisiana. I can help you. She'll help you. I'll help you help her. So, but if you want to be a model, go to a professional photographer. If you want to be an actor, go to a professional photographer, because they know what, if Tammie says, look, I need you to go get headshots, and she's going to give you, say, Paul's name, Paul knows what a headshot is. Paul knows what a comp card is. He knows what we need for comp cards. And in all honesty, a comp card only needs to be 5 photos. Headshot, 4 photos on the back. And then we put your sizes, all that stuff on the back. And then going forward, our comp cards will have both logos, her logo, my logo, on the comp cards, because we are trying to work in conjunction with each other. So, because she gets jobs that I don't get, and I get jobs she doesn't get. So, and
we do them together.
Yeah, and I don't want to say but I've been in business 30 years, so there are actually clients that seek me out because they know how I train our models. But I've went over all of that with Tammie. She knows how I train them. We go more with values of the 1960s, where it's more about being wholesome and just beautiful pictures instead of being sexy. And we can't market those kind. Bikini photos, I get them all the time. I don't really need bikini photos. And another thing that me and Tammie both have talked about, if we do a model call, and probably if we do one in the South, it'll be both of us, and we'll be in the same place at the same time. If we put a model call out, read our directions, because if you come to that model call and you, like if I say I need you in black leggings and a black t-shirt, you better come like that. Because if you don't, neither one of us are going to hire you. Because it's about following directions.
Exactly.
It's not being, I'm not being ugly when I say that. We, as agents, we have ethics and guidelines, to be simply honest about it. And we know what we want our reputation to be, and the way you come across affects our reputation. So we're being very, there's nothing wrong with doing lingerie shoots. I made my money being a lingerie model in the 80s. I made really good money. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But the jobs that we're getting, you've got to be like the utmost professionalism. We are working very, very closely with Beverly Hills Fashion Week and the Beverly Hills Society. So,
classy.
Yeah, very, very, very high class. And we're not really being picky as far as height requirements, as most fashion weeks are. I am the agent for Fashion Week. My agency is the agency for Beverly Hills and possibly Los Angeles. We're going to be speaking to them because they are reopening in the spring. So we'll be planning that, and we'll be seeking models even here. Now, some of the questions that I've got are, will they pay for our transportation? Tammie and I both know how these fashion weeks work. It is an honor. It is an honor to be picked for Fashion Week. So I can tell you right now, you're not going to get paid. If it's your dream and this is something you really want to do and you're sincere and you got the money to go. Now, if Tammie and I do go out there, we'd probably rent a house and we'd probably all stay together. So that would help with expense a little bit, but you have to have money for food. Tammie and I aren't going to pay for that. No agent is going to pay for that. Actually, Jeffrey Morris, I think you know him too, Tammie. Jeffrey is my super good buddy. We've been friends for a really long time. And Jeffrey has been in New York Fashion Week and several other fashion weeks. And he will tell you that you don't get paid. You don't get paid. Sometimes you'll be lucky to be able to go in a group to save some money. But if it's your dream to be in a large fashion week, it's a privilege to be invited. And I will have the opportunity to present the fashion weeks in California. And there's another one, which I do not remember at this time, but the owner of Beverly Hills Fashion Week is trying to create another one. And I don't know if it's San Diego or San Francisco. I'm not really sure. But there will be lots of opportunities. Kristen, I know that they're planning March for Fashion Week in Beverly Hills and Los Angeles as well. Now, they did say that if there was still a lockdown, it would be in the fall. So we're all up in the air because of that. But I will keep y'all updated. I always share everything with Tammie. So, but she can tell you too. I'm really hard to get a hold of. She
And
just told me she sent a message.
all that is because Tim's photographed them all before. He's done it for decades.
Well, cool, awesome. We'll talk about pop cards. Oh. I forgot to tell people. We own 3 magazines. We have a pageant, Enchantment US pageant. Look, I don't even know the name of it. It's my pageant. It's kind of been on the back burner because when I got cancer, I really couldn't work. And then, but Rita and I were talking about how we're going to restructure it for 2021. So if anybody wants to be in the pageant, that's a possibility as well. And we accept anybody. I don't care what size you are. I don't care what sex you are. I don't care what your sexual orientation is. We're also going to go after special needs people who want to be in the pageant. We're going to be big supporters of special needs, whether it be, what is that, autism, autism or any kind of special needs. We're going to be open to that as well. And then we have Velvet Moon magazine, which we're reviving for 2021. And then, we have Power Divas in Charge, the TV show, which is actually in production now. We have that magazine, which I think is called Power Style. It's on the website, bossdivas.tv. So for the photographers like Paul, now we're not paying right now, but if you have any releases from models that tell you to just do what you want to with the photos, I would be happy to give you a full page. And what I would need is a paragraph and then 5 or 6 pictures of whatever you want me to put in there. And for the first couple of issues, sponsors will be free. So if anybody wants to, and what we're doing is we're doing like a business card size advertisement in the back of the magazine. And I'm welcoming this to photographers, anybody in the entertainment industry, clothing stores, anybody. I'm offering free ads for the first 2 issues, which would be, I don't think we're going to have an issue in January, but starting February, we'll be back up with all 3 magazines.
And then I have 2 magazines.
So we have 5.
Magazine. Yes, mine's the Motion Picture Magazine, which, Kristen, that's where the interviews for the filmmakers go. That's where the interviews for all the behind the scenes, all that stuff goes. And then my model magazine is not the ones for like the skinny models. It's the ones for like medieval models, like pictures like that have like horses or fighting or, whatever, like scene models.
And Kristen asked a question. So this is for you, Tammie, for the Filmmaker magazine. Now, right. For Boss, the Power Diva Style, which is the name of the magazine, I will be interviewing writers, anybody in the film industry, anybody, producers, anybody, photographers, anybody. So that's an opportunity too. Our goal with Tammie and I both is, and keep in mind, you don't have to have a lot of money to do any of this stuff. You can do anything you want to do if you're creative. So what our goal is to market you as much as we can. So for instance, Kristen, when Watchdogs, when we're allowed to really start pushing it, you will have a back cover on one of these magazines.
Yeah, so that was the motion picture one. Each month that comes out, each film that's done that month, everybody that's in the film will be interviewed and have their picture in it. That was the whole purpose of it. so that everybody in the film would get exposure.
Exactly. Now, a couple of years ago, well, more than a couple, like 10 years ago, I had a magazine called Comp Magazine, COMP. And what it was a magazine with just comp cards. So I had now the agency has a lookbook. My agency has a lookbook. I'm going to help Tammie get one for hers too. And it's actually it's not a magazine style. It's actually looks like a book. And when you order it, it's like 11 by something. It's a pretty big book, but mine is the Leesa Robinson Agency lookbook, and then Tammie's will have her name on it. And what it is you go in and it'll talk about both of our agencies, and then we'll have each one of our model will have a page. You will have your own page, and we're able to put 4 pictures on your page. All of your stats. It's going to be like a comp card, but in a large book form. And we'll have all of our talent, which mine is, we're just revamping it because I have over 600 talent nationwide and some worldwide too. So we're going to have to revamp mine to not give everybody a whole page, because that would be a book.
Yeah, that would take forever.
That would be just thick. So that's kind of what we got going on, and we're just moving forward and having a good time as we go. And one thing I want to state to everybody is Tammie knows me. I am a super positive person. I stay positive, and that's one of the reasons why I stay off of Facebook and I stay on TikTok so much. Because I'm laughing all the time. I just told Tammie today she's got to get a TikTok. And she's like, I don't have time. But you get hooked on it too. You're like, and
TikTok for me. You make a TikTok for me.
Okay. But what we need to, what we want to project is positivity. I have a thing that I call set it and forget it. When I have an intention, and this is how I want all you writers to be. If you trust us, first of all, you've trusted me and you've trusted her to do everything that we possibly can for your project. So I need you to let it go after that. If we tell you that we feel like we can get funding for you, then number one, we need your belief and your trust and your faith. And we appreciate that loyalty, and we will be loyal back. We will give you the respect and the loyalty that you deserve. So, because we both get a lot of calls. Have you got funding yet? Have you got funding yet? And for me, that's stressful because my job is an executive producer. And then Tammie's getting flack from her people, but Tammie's waiting on me to bring the money. And now she doesn't bother me because she knows how this me and her can go a week without talking and we're fine. But she knows how this industry is. And I've been at a closing table and the deal not go through. So there are times like we had a December 5th deadline, but I think there was a lot of miscommunication on what that deadline was. That deadline was we had to get our 181 tax credit completed with the attorneys before December 5th to be able to take advantage of that tax credit. And then now I'm waiting on a December 25th funding and a February funding. So I have multiple investors. So if I relay something to Tammie and she relays it to you, we may not know where your project is in that line dropping, if that makes sense. Right, Tammie? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So all we ask is you be patient with us. And I know how exciting it can be that your project is up for production, but that's why that NDA is in place, because we don't talk about it either, except among ourselves and our investors. But the main thing is to set it and forget it. If you believe that it's going to happen, it's going to happen. I'm a large law of attraction kind of person, and I manifest really quickly. And even through COVID, we are able to produce and fund your projects. So Law of attraction. That's all I gotta say. Paul says, I'll shoot your TikTok.
Yeah. Okay, Paul. Yay!
Yeah, I think it's just my name. I think it's just Leesa Robinson. It was Boss Divas, but I changed the name of the show to Power Divas in Charge. So I changed my name on TikTok. It's Leesa Robinson. I'm going to have to help Tammie make some videos. All right. Well, we mentioned everything. Our sponsors is back there. EbonySage.com is our spiritual store that's next door. And you can go to Aquarius Cosmetics, I think. I don't know. I'll post a link for my cosmetic line. But I want to say it's expensive because beauty is sometimes expensive.
Makeup expensive, hair products are expensive, clothes are expensive. It's all expensive.
It's all expensive. Beauty is expensive.
Right.
That's the only thing I don't care how much money I spend on. But this is my particular cosmetic line. I am going to send Tammie a set that she can use and she can do a testimony. I'm ordered some little bottles, little tiny bottles, so that I can take one of these and put samples so that I can get testimonials. The only thing that, and I hate to say it because it's my line, I believe it's the night cream. It doesn't smell really well. And I think it's the night cream. It doesn't smell really well, but it's because it has that, what is it? Retinol or something in it. I don't know. Yeah. But, for beauty, if it stinks,
oh well. It works, whatever. Yeah.
That's right. Whatever. And, I don't think a lot of people know this. I'm 61 years old and I have dark circles, but me and Tammie were talking about it. Neither one of us has been sleeping lately. But I virtually have no wrinkles. And not necessarily that I'm going to attribute it to that, because the great skin runs in my family. My mother's like 80 something and she's beautiful. Her skin looks like Tammie. Matter of fact, Tammie, you look like my mama. She has those high cheekbones and but her hair is black like mine. Yeah, she has the high cheekbones. But you could be my sister, honestly. But the skincare line does really make a difference. I can tell in the feel of my skin. And the wrinkles are right here because I do have that's a whole set. It's the day serum, the night cream, the eye serum, and something else. But I'll list the website if anybody's just interested in reading up on it. Oh, thank you, Paul. That's so sweet. Yeah, we know we rock. Yeah.
Oh, another thing, what me and Leesa are going to do is get like a package for everybody when we do have production that has masks with our production company's names on them, cups, t-shirts, all that kind of stuff, hand sanitizer with the production company names on it, and everybody's going to get like a package.
Exactly.
Come on set.
I'm actually working a deal with Google Pads. I was working with HP, and then they weren't doing the little pads or something anymore. So we're working with the pads, the tablets, that they will have software that she and I will both need on production. So I'm working with somebody on writing that software, and then I have to send it to them so that they can see if they can incorporate it. Now, there'll be a cost for those tablets, but we can take that cost out of our production cost. And it'll be a tablet that, like, Tammie will have one, I'll have one, and then all the other producers will have one that work for our company that we know we're not going to lose those producers or our staff. So our software will come automatically on those pads, and they're not going to be that expensive. I think they said they were going to be like $250 a piece wholesale. So And the way it's going to work is like if Tammie's on one side of the studio, I'm on the other side of the studio. We're seeing exactly the same thing. If she changes something on her end, I can see everything she's doing. So it's really cool that we'll have that communication.
You don't have to like email something and then they have to download it, save it, so then it all matches. It just automatically all matches as soon as one person saves. It's all the same on everybody's.
That's really cool. So
lose 20 pounds. I don't need to lose 20 pounds.
I do. He was talking to me. Girl, sit down. He was talking to me. I do need to lose 20 pounds. I know.
Why am I not eating and sleeping? I'm working so much.
Me too. Now, and I think mine is because literally I worked from 8 o'clock yesterday.
I don't know.
I was here in the office literally all day and I did not leave this desk. So I think my problem with weight is I'm just not moving around because my job is sitting right here. So, and look, today we've been sitting here an hour and 15 minutes and so I'm not moving. And I have a rather large office. This particular room is my little private area. And right over there, I have a kitchen and a bathroom. And then we busted out the wall to the unit next door. And I have 800 square feet that I use for filming when I have filmed documentaries. I use that. But I'm fixing to set up space for producers. I'm going to set up workspaces, so that anybody in production, if they want to rent a workspace for a day or whatever, we've got that space over there. And I actually talked to the owner about buying me. What?
I said there's space right next door to you for me.
There you go. I have a desk over there. All you gotta do is go use it. Go sit down. So that's what we're kind of working on. And I have talked to the owner of this building about purchasing the building, and she told me to make her an offer. So I'm preparing that offer, and we'll see what happens with that. Because it's a very, I know it's in Waveland, Mississippi, but we're kind of back behind. I got McDonald's up front, and Planet Fitness and Goodwill are right up front. So we're kind of behind. And I got a movie theater right next door. So it's really private back here. And there's a bakery next door to me, and she's got coffee. So I could go get coffee or cupcake or whatever. And then I have my spiritual shop next door. And then we have an insurance company, which may be beneficial to me and you at some point when we need insurance for things. And then upstairs is 2 apartments that they have rented out. So it's a beautiful little space. I love my little space. And I want to make it all about production. My 2 units are all about production. So that's where I'm at. Thank you, Paul. Well, we're going to call it a day. Tammie and I'll be back next Saturday. We're trying to devote at least an hour every Saturday, different topics. Now, during the week, I did a Power Divas in Charge show with Rita Kasman, and it was on domestic violence. So some of our topics, and during the week, Tammie and I will be posting on our page and in certain groups what we're looking for. So if you want to be on our show, I have the capacity to add, I think, 10 people onto this. I don't really want to do that. I only want it to be me and Tammie and maybe one other person. Or maybe 2 people.
Yeah, like one or 2 people that we're interviewing at one time.
Because you deserve that attention. I mean, if you want to talk about domestic violence or whatever our topic is, you deserve that attention. And Tammie and I both know, we've both been in domestic violence situations. We both know that you start to heal when you start to talk. So when you feel comfortable that you want to talk about it, then we're that venue for you. We're both compassionate, loving people, and we have resources to help, especially in domestic violence. There are a lot of things that is not our expertise, but we've both been in domestic violence situations.
I've been on both ends of it, between that and working, helping people. So,
yep. So we'll both be posting
us, and then we bring one person on and let them do their story and do that, and then let them off. and then bring someone else on. That way that
Mhm.
person's getting the attention that they need and getting to tell their story without being interrupted. So bring on one person at a time, and then, do it one at a time. I think that's
Mhm.
better.
And it's worked out really well since too. And two, I just want to mention really quick, Tammie and I both will be posting about fashion weeks. Um, I'll do some flyers on the magazines. So Tammie, if you send me yours, I'll make separate flyers per magazine, and then I can post them. You can post them all, and we'll just keep that going. If anybody knows any group that are open to us just posting the flyer, because some groups want to be approved first. If
I've
you'll,
got pages for both of mine. I've got actual pages on Facebook for both of mine.
oh, okay.
So
Well,
we can.
then see, that's what we'll use as a marketing tool. I use Facebook ads all the time too, and promote to a large area. So once we get going and have more funding for our magazines and stuff, we'll move forward with actually doing some ads and stuff. Okay, it's been great. I have fun as I do every single day of my life, but it's been great. But
Thank you
we
all for
will,
watching.
yep, thank you for
If
watching, and we'll
y'all have
see.
any questions, or if you have any screenplays you want us to read or anything, my email is smithinternationalproductions@gmail.com.
And mine is Leesa at LeesaRobinson.com. And don't forget, my name is Leesa. So we will see y'all next week.
Mm-hmm. If not, maybe before. I may want to do like a truth and tell sometime in between, maybe.
Okay, sounds good. Or we may jump on during the week. We don't know.
Yeah, you never know what
Okay,
we might come up with.
love you all. Next week.